So, this is just my feelings about this, but other people could be feeling the same way, so that's why I'm sharing. By June of this year, by the summertime, I think summer starts June 21st, 22nd, something around there. By the summer of 2024, I believe the election could very well be over. Yeah. Now we know the election isn't until November, but for all intents and purposes, I think the polling will have shifted. And I think the general sentiment of the citizenry will be set in. You say, how do I come to that conclusion? Let me explain. This trial is about to begin. The New York hush money trial. This criminal trial that Donald Trump is about to be on trial for his role in the 2016, election, and how he covered up certain details about himself and his doings. I think when the American citizenry hears what truly occurred, they're going to be aghast and very, very angry. Now, there's a reason Trump's lawyers didn't want Karen McDougal, Michael Cohen, and Stormy Daniels to testify next month in this trial. There's a reason why. And I believe the reason why is because there are many, many details, stories that we as citizens don't currently know about what transpired in 2016. Now think about it. The former president said that he did not have relations with Stormy Daniels. Now we know he's lying, or at least I did. And you all are going to ask me, how do you know definitively he's lying about it? And I'm going to share in great detail how I know he's lying about it. Let's take him at his word. He didn't have relations with Stormy Daniels. Why then would his lawyer, Michael Cohen, pay a random woman that he didn't have any relations with $130,000? Does that make any sense to you all? Do you pay random folks that you don't know $130,000, your lawyer, and take it out of your campaign? The money, the $130,000, take it out of your campaign. So you clearly saw it was coming out of your campaign. Why would you cut a check to a person you don't know $130,000? It doesn't make much sense to me. Seems like you're giving somebody you don't know $130,000. Random people, real people don't do that, okay? Nobody does that. So you know right then and there, that's a big red flag. Something's up. Somebody's not telling the truth. And we know Stormy got the money. Yeah, because she signed paperwork saying that she had to commit to silence. And now, since that documentary has come out, you all, the Stormy Daniels documentary, you better go and watch it, or better go and check out the clips of it. Because I'm telling you, that documentary is pretty damning. It's not a good look for Donald Trump or the Republican Party at this point. Well, the Republican Party is going to be blindsided because they don't even know what's going to happen in that New York hush money trial. They don't know what's going to get said and what's going to come out. If I don't know, they don't know. But here's some clues, some telltale signs that it's not going to be good for them. Now, Stormy is in that documentary, and she's saying all kinds of stuff that makes her look a lot more, it paints her in a better light than I initially had for her. Because my initial thinking was this. I'm going to tell you what my initial thinking was. Stormy Daniels took that $130,000 and didn't say anything just because she wanted the money. That was what I originally thought. And no offense, but hey, a person has to get paid for what they do. So I'm like, I'm not going to knock her for doing it, but she could have helped out the country by coming forward. Now we learn, you all, that she said she feared for her life if she didn't sign the paper. Yeah, that's a whole lot different than somebody just taking a bribe to be quiet. Somebody telling you, I signed that document because I feared that this man would have people kill me. And before you all scoff and say, oh my goodness, she's just being melodramatic. No. Donald Trump is involved with some very, very shady folks. And he's done some very, very dark, shady, very insidious things to people. Many people. Yeah. And just because you all don't know that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. So, when she says that she took that money and signed that document because of fear for her life and her family, and then she showed text messages and voice recordings of random people she had never met before, threatening her life, threatening her daughter's life, I probably would have signed the document too. You should read and go and listen to some of that stuff that she received. Yeah. Now ask yourself, was that part of a coordinated campaign by Trump? Did he pay these folks to threaten this woman to shut up and take that money? Because that's a whole different ball game if that's what was going on. I can't say that that's what's going on, but the documentary suggests us that might have been the case. Because you got to think, how did these random people get Stormy down? Who leaked her information online? Who would do that? Somebody that was affiliated, perhaps, with wanting Donald Trump to be elected. Maybe it wasn't his campaign. Let's not go there. But maybe it was somebody strongly in support of Donald Trump who knew that if the story had come out, people would not have had a favorable opinion and would not have voted for him. So in a way, this is election interference. This is an election interference case because you cannot say, you cannot tell me and convince me. You can say it, but you cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that had Stormy Daniels come out in 2016 and told the American citizenry that Donald Trump had sex with her and tried to bribe her and pay her off, that wouldn't have changed a lot of American citizens' minds about him prior to their vote in 2016. It would have changed a lot of citizens' minds. And let me tell you one core constituency, one core group of voters whose minds would have been changed. American women. Period. If American women had known what was in that Stormy Daniels documentary, a lot of women would not have voted for Donald Trump in 2016 that ultimately did. Oh no, you can't convince me otherwise. A lot of women who voted for him in 16 would not have voted for him if they had known what Stormy Daniels was going through. No, they wouldn't have. Go and watch that documentary and then prepare for the trial. Get some popcorn and some champagne because you're going to be in for a treat in April. It's going down for real. That trial is serious. Everybody kept saying, this is not a serious trial. Alvin Bragg shouldn't bring this to trial. Let's wait and find out. Because I'm telling you, after I saw the Stormy Daniels documentary, I went, whoa. Yeah, not only did they threaten her multiple times, her and her family, they went to where she lived and shot her horse. Yeah, they tried to murder her animal. Yeah. And you notice Donald Trump calls this woman horse face, horse face, horse face. And then it comes out that her horse was harmed. Is he sending coded threats to her? You don't know because you don't know who he's associated with. We know he's associated with the Russian mafia. At least I do. He is associated with the Russian mafia. And the Russian mafia are hitmen, okay? They murder people. So we know he's associated with some dark, shady, evil people on this planet. You all can try to pretend like he's not, but he is. He's pure evil. Donald Trump is pure evil. Pure. There's nothing positive or good about him. Yeah. People like that you don't want to associate with. And anybody that does associate with those type of people, you automatically know what their ultimate ends might be too. So Stormy Daniels says, the night in question when she's talking about what happened with the former president having relations, she says she meets him in a hotel. They're talking about business, and he wants her to, be on The Apprentice. This is why she met with him. See, if we had the context, it just looks like, oh, this porn star meets with this wealthy, affluent man in a hotel. Okay, they're meeting for sex. No, she said this was about business. He was trying to offer her a role in The Apprentice. So now that makes sense. And remember, Stormy Daniels is 27 years of age at the time. Donald Trump is 60, married to Melania Trump. So she's thinking, okay, this man is 60. He's married with kids. And he's got this show on a hit network, The Apprentice. So he wants to meet with me. He wants to put me on. He wants to make me a star. Okay, cool. I'll meet with him. She said she goes into the bathroom, comes out of the bathroom, and he pounces on her. Stop. Pause. Does that story not sound eerily familiar to E. Jean Carroll? Tell me I'm lying, you all. It's almost exactly what he did to E. Jean Carroll in that department store. This is one of the reasons why I find her story to be credible. Because, when people do those kinds of things to other people, victimize people, there's usually a pattern and practice that they do. There's there's a modus operandi. They operate the same type of way. So he pounced on E. Jean Carroll in the department store. He pounces on Stormy Daniels in the hotel room. Because she said they were talking business. She went into the bathroom. She comes out, and the next thing she knows, he's got his pants unzipped, and he pounces on her, just grabs her from the back, and throws her on the bed. This is how she describes it. Now, she said it wasn't rape because she didn't say no, which is a technicality. Because if somebody doesn't ask for permission, technically, it's sexual assault. If you're with somebody and they're talking something and they don't even bring up anything sexual to you, and then the next thing you know, you come out of a different place and they're naked, pouncing on you, throwing you on a bed, that's sexual assault. But she said it's not rape because she didn't say no. So technically, it's not rape, but it would be considered sexual assault by any stretch or definition of the matter. Yeah, because he didn't ask. There was no lead up to it. So, she also mentioned that he said she resembled his daughter Ivanka. Now, I'm going to tell you why women are going to believe Stormy Daniels and not believe Donald Trump. And it's very simple. Men, first and foremost, men lie all the time. They do. Women do too, but men lie. And here's the thing about it. She wouldn't have been this detailed about the story. There's no reason to say this man said that I resembled his daughter if he didn't say that. That's something so specific that you're not just going to think of that and just lie about it. That's a specific thing that you would think to recall and say that this person said before they did what they did to you. And it stands to reason that Trump would say something like that. Because think about it, Stormy was 27 years of age. He said she looks like Ivanka because they're both blonde. Yeah, exactly. It stands to reason. So women are going to believe it because it's a detail. that most women who have been assaulted, they've heard similar things that men have said to them. Yeah, men always do that kind of thing. And so most women are going to say, you know what? This is highly believable what she's saying on the stand because we've gone through this experience ourselves. Yeah, we've had men say, you look just like my daughter and assault me. Yeah, that's a common thing that a lot of men do before they sexually assault women, okay? So women have that intrinsic experience of knowing that men do those kinds of things. So men might not believe it because, they're the ones who do the victimization, so they're not going to believe it. But women, when they hear that, and that, I guarantee you, when every woman who heard Stormy Daniels say that, said, that's me. Men have done that same shit to me. I guarantee you. She was speaking women's language. Yeah. Yeah, it's an unspoken thing that women go through. So they know it. Men would have no idea. Yeah. So that to me was the clincher. That's what nailed it. I was like, this woman was assaulted by Donald Trump. And we all know it. And he's going to get up there in court or have his lawyers get up there in court and say he didn't do it. Now, who are we going to believe? A liar that, according to all documentation by the New York Times, I think they said he lied 20,000 plus times when he was president? Are we supposed to believe a pathological liar? Somebody who couldn't tell the truth to save his goddamn life? Or are we supposed to believe Stormy Daniels, who was 27 years of age in a hotel with a 60-year-old man, and him talking about he's going to give her a role on The Apprentice, and compare her to his daughter, Ivanka? We've got audio tape of him talking about how he thinks Ivanka is attractive on Howard Stern. Yeah. He went and told those women on The View that Ivanka has a nice body. Yeah. We've got that on tape. Yeah. That's not, yeah, that's what's out there. And so it stands to reason, according to me, based off of what I know about that individual, that he would do that. Yeah, it stands to reason. Yeah. We would call that like preponderance of evidence. Yeah. The preponderance of evidence leads me. I don't give a damn what you all believe. The preponderance of evidence leads me to believe that he, Donald Trump, because I know he's a trashy individual. Yeah, he's filthy. He's somebody I would never, ever want to be in the company of. Yeah. I would probably just gag being near him. Yeah. So it stands to reason, the preponderance of evidence, it would lead me to believe that he did that. Yeah. And it would also lead me to believe that he has some kind of goon squad, some type of fanatics. You've seen them. You've seen the MAGA people, haven't you? Haven't they abused other American citizens? Haven't they terrorized other American citizens the same way they terrorized Stormy Daniels? We've seen. If she wasn't speaking to something we hadn't experienced, then it would be something, out of the blue. We saw what they did. They talk about political violence. They've been committing political violence ever since he came down that escalator. His supporters have been committing political violence towards American citizens ever since he came down that escalator. And when he's done with, when they finally wake up out of their hypnosis and realize what they've fucking done to the American citizenry, people who never supported him, people are never going to take them back. People are never going to see them the same way. I never want to be bartered with. I've said this all the time, and I'll say it again. Those folks who stormed the Capitol building, if I knew one of them was one of my coworkers, I would leave. I would never want to work with a person like that. Never. In a million years. I would never want to work with anybody who was involved in January 6th. Yeah. You're mud to me. You're nothing. You're garbage. You can't do that shit and think that everything is going to be okay. No. No, no, no. So he's got some folks that are beyond crazy, beyond lunatics. And yeah, I believe that it was his supporters that went out to Stormy Daniels' house and shot her horse with a rubber bullet. Yeah, yeah. Because they personally terrorized me. His supporters have tried multiple times to assassinate me. Period. This is a fact. You all try to act like I don't fuck with Trump and his supporters because I don't agree with them politically. No, that's part of it. And part of it is they can't keep to themselves and they want to fuck with people who don't support them. And that's why I can't stand him or his supporters. They're talking about, we're all Americans. No, 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 no. No. The way they've treated people who are citizens who did not support them, no. It's like Mars and Venus. We're nowhere near being considered friends or citizens to them. I want nothing to do with those people. And if they come around me this year, this election year, thinking they're going to beef with us, they're going to learn a thing or two. Because in 2020, we sat back and took a lot from them. But we're not going to do that in 2024. They better just wait to November and vote for that son of a bitch and leave it at that. Like, we're going to vote for whoever we're going to vote for. It won't be him. And we'll leave it at that. And that's what Americans should do this year. Because I'm telling you, everybody's at their wits' end. And if they think they're going to do the same bullshit they did in 2020, come into Portland shooting people with paintball guns, it's a whole lot of fucking shit they did. And a lot of the media, this is how you can tell the media is white and corporate owned. Because they never want to hold those white people that did that accountable for what they did. Long before January 6th, they were terrorizing American citizens. Long before January 6th. They just got butthurt that they terrorized members of Congress. But they didn't care when they were terrorizing us. They didn't care when they were in Portland. They didn't care when they came to Seattle. They didn't care when they were trying to run people off the road in Texas. They didn't care about any of that shit. When it came to them and they wanted to impale them with flagpoles, when they wanted to smash their windows out, that's when they started caring. But they didn't care when they were terrorizing Ruby Freeman and Shea Moss. So see, this is what I had a problem with the Democrats and those members of Congress. We were telling them these people are crazy, these people are committing terrorist acts out here towards the citizenry, and they didn't give a damn. It was only when they did it towards them that they started fearing. And then they wanted to prosecute and hold them accountable for anything that they were doing. But they got away with a lot of fuck shit. So they can never tell me about how we're all citizens. No, you go to fucking hell. If there is a hell, you go to it. Don't come near us. We never want to be bothered with them ever again. Never. Yeah. I don't even consider them citizens. I don't even look at them as citizens. Yeah. They have the nerve to be talking about the migrants committing violence. Sweetheart, you better talk about all the violence you committed towards American citizens. Because I'll tell the migrants, you haven't done shit in comparison to what you did to us. Period. Yeah. The migrants didn't do any of that shit that they did. Yeah, the migrants are brand new. They're just off the boat. They haven't done shit yet. Now, if they try to do some fucking shit, that's when we'll talk about it. But these folks, they've been over here for centuries, and they've been doing all kind of fucking shit. So I don't know how they can talk about the migrants being violent when all we've seen from them in centuries is violence. Yeah, we know nothing but violence from them. I don't know what the hell the Venezuelans have been doing. I do know what the American citizens have been doing to other American citizens. Yeah, I do know that. So that's why I don't want to hear about the migrants. You all keep telling me about the migrants. I cannot be bothered to hear that. Because when you have American citizens who've been lynching people, who've been putting knees on necks for 9 minutes and 22 seconds, when you have Americans who've been busting into people's homes, shooting them, I don't want to hear about the migrants. If you all were angelic, and then this new group of people came in and they were misbehaving, that'd be one thing. But we've had to deal with the violence from them for centuries. Yeah. The migrants are brand new. We don't know what we're going to have to deal with from them. The migrants might be cool. They might be nice. Yeah. The migrants should push back against this bullying. On a side note, migrants, stand up for yourself. Push back against this bullying that you're receiving from these folks. Tell them in Spanish you didn't use ropes to lynch people and put them on trees and burn their bodies after they were lynched. Yeah, just tell them you don't do that in Venezuela. Yeah, like Americans did to other American citizens. You know, they have some nerve down there in Georgia talking about migrants. Sweetheart, thousands and thousands of black Americans you lynched and put on trees. You came and burned crosses on people's homes, shot them while they were asleep early in the morning. You do not get to talk about violence being committed when you have done nothing but commit violence for centuries in this country. You go straight to hell. If there is a hell, I say they can go to it. We'll go to a separate hell because we don't even want to be in the same hell with them. I'd rather go to a different hell. I'll get to the gates and say, is that person going to hell? And they'll say, yeah, they're going to hell. Can I go to a different hell? Can I go to a different part of the hell? Because I don't want to be near them, even in hell, period. Yeah, they got a lot of nerve to talk about some migrants like they've been angelic over here. Yeah, like they've been angelic. They got the nerve to talk about migrants committing violence. Thousands of people all throughout the South, Mississippi, Alabama, lynched. Thousands. The migrants haven't done shit. They haven't done that. You all did it. And now you want to deflect about the migrants. No, miss me with that bullshit. I don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. When the migrants do 1/10 of all the shit, white supremacy, Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, when they do 1/10 of all the shit you all did to your own citizens, then come back and contact me. When they do just 1/10 of it. I don't even think they're going to do 1/10 of it. I personally don't believe it. Because I've met the Venezuelans. I have friends who are Venezuelans. They don't do that kind of shit. They do other shit that I don't necessarily agree with or approve of. But hey, everybody has their own thing. But you all, this Stormy Daniels situation is really, really serious. And I believe by the beginning of summer, Trump is going to be through. He's toast. Yeah, Stormy Daniels, if she gets on that stand and tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Trump is toast. And the Republican Party is starting to panic now. You can tell they're panicking. The reason I'm going to explain this to you all. The reason wealthy conservative people are not contributing to Donald Trump's campaign at this moment is because they're waiting to the conclusion of that New York hush money trial. And let me tell the rich conservatives something. You don't have to take my advice for it. You do whatever the hell you want to do with your money. But hey, it's going to be like flushing money down the toilet. If you give money to Trump right now, before that trial starts, you might as well just go to the bathroom and flush $1 million, $2 million, however much you want to give him. You might as well just flush that down the toilet. Because once that trial gets going, and we all sit there and hear the details of what that man did in order to win the 2016 election, you know, talk about a rigged election. Hillary would have been president. If we had known the full details about those stories, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever, Hillary would have been president. Period. Full stop. Because we had the Access Hollywood tape. But the Access Hollywood, see, people don't understand this. The Access Hollywood tape was just audio of him saying what he actually did to Stormy and so many other women and girls. I think we're up to 30 women and girls that have claimed this man has victimized them. 30. Can you imagine? And these people got the nerve to talk about they want a Christian nationalist country. Apparently in your country, your men can just victimize women and girls. That's real Christian, right? Then they got the nerve to talk about the Satanists. Bro, if you're doing the same shit that your supposed adversary, the Satanists, do, how are you any fucking different? Right? This is why I don't do cults, because the people in cults are stupid. Okay? You gonna talk about devil worshippers, Luciferians, Satanists, and you're gonna excuse all of that fuck shit that he's done to victimize people? Okay. Yeah, make it make some sense, please. Please and thank you. Because how are you going to talk about everybody else, Jeffrey Epstein, and saving the children? And here it is, this fucker is victimizing little girls. Yeah, they know what he's done. You can go and find out what he's done, okay? They see no evil, they hear no evil, they speak no evil when it's Donald Trump. But when it's Jeffrey Epstein, when it's Harvey Weinstein, you get my point? You get what I'm drifting at? Let me say it out and out for you. When it's somebody who's Jewish, then, oh my God, we have to save our children. When it's this white dude who's doing the same shit, when it's them doing it, then it's like, he's going to save our children. He's Jesus, and nobody's perfect, and all of us have sinned. You get my point? I'm like, how come you don't give grace and space to Weinstein and Epstein? Oh, they're Jewish, right? Yeah. So this is anti-Semitism too. Just as much as they're vehement racist, misogynist, and xenophobia, homophobia, they're also anti-Semitic. Because if you're not going to be willing to say, if it's Epstein and Weinstein to do it and it's wrong, and if it's Trump and company to do it, it's wrong. If you're going to have double standards for who gets to do what, as long as it's the same thing, and then come and try to act like you're some type of person holding people accountable, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're a fraud. Russell Brand can get a pass. He did the same shit to all of these underage girls. He did the same shit that Harvey Weinstein was doing. Russell Brand. This is a fact. And he gets a pass because he's a white British conservative man. But Harvey Weinstein, he is the worst person in the world. Everybody in Hollywood should have known. Really? Should everybody in Hollywood have known about Russell Brand? And when they came forward, how come Tucker Carlson and all you conservative men were defending him? Yeah. How come you didn't throw him under the bus like you did Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein? It's the same garbage. They all did the same shit. But you have such animus when it's a Jewish person that does it, right? But when it's a white man that does it, it's, they're going after our men and we got to defend ourselves. No, hold that same goddamn energy, right? But it's about anti-Semitism. It's about hatred of certain people and trying to cover for other people. It's phony is what I'm telling you. It's bogus. And that's why I don't get involved in it, you all. Because I see right through it. I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm not going to chastise one person who's selling drugs. They're like, they sell cocaine. And this other person, they sell ecstasy. Both are illegal drugs on the street. And you're going to say, the person selling cocaine, they're the worst. They ought to get 500 years. But this person selling ecstasy, that's okay. Everybody's got to make money. Everybody's got to make a living. But that person selling cocaine, they're the worst person. Put them in prison. This is how they do. This is how they roll. And want me to roll like that. And I say, no, hell no, I'm not going to roll like that. If you have a problem with people abusing children, abusing kids, and we know here's a group of people who have done it, you can't just say, I'm going to selectively be outraged about people I don't philosophically agree with. Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like you have outrage for people you don't philosophically agree with, based off of their ethnicity or their political lens. But then when it comes to folks who have done the same thing, who you philosophically agree with, you have no problem with them doing it. Now that's what I call hypocrisy. You're a hypocrite. And you ought to go somewhere and sit down and shut up and not say anything. Because don't say you have a problem with people abusing children. And then when we tell you this person is an abuser, you find all types of excuses to downplay, minimize, and whitewash the abuse. Don't do that. It's not a good look, evangelical white Christian Americans. It's not a good look at all. Because you all know Donald Trump is filthy trash. You all know that. Yeah. That's something universally known by all of us. Yeah. And so they try to minimize him. He can do no wrong. It's a witch hunt, right? Yeah. He wasn't even president when he did that to Stormy Daniels. So how is it a witch hunt? Yeah, he wasn't president. This was in long before the election. Facts. He wasn't president when he did that with Karen McDougal. Long before the election. So this is why I find a lot of folks that talk that shit very, very highly disingenuous at best. And, at worst, I won't even say. So you all, by the time this trial is over with, I predict by the first of the summer, Donald Trump is going to be toast. The Republicans are going to be scrambling, looking for somebody else. But it's going to be too late because Laura is in charge of the TNC. I don't call it the RNC anymore. It's the TNC. It's the Trump National Committee. It's not the Republican National Committee. Laura's in charge of that. So even if they want to sit down Donald, they look at the polls and he's polling at 18, 19% nationally. Because I think that's where he's going to end up. These polls, I'm not even paying attention to them until August, September, October. These polls now, they're pointless because there's going to be so much that happens between now and the election, it's not even going to be fun. So by the time we get to the beginning of summer, he's going to be probably polling at 18, 19, 20%. If that. That's going to be lucky. But I can believe 20% of the American society is trashy. I can believe that. That's all the men. Yeah, that's all the trashy men of America. That's going to be the only... Let me tell you all this. My prediction is this. The only people left to support Donald Trump are going to be the worst, trashiest dudes of American society. That's the only people that are going to support him. Period. It's all going to be trashy-ass dudes. Yeah, people that you wouldn't want to associate with to save your life. That's going to be his only support in the end. And a handful of Karens. And what they're going to do is they're going to put the Karens on camera. They're already doing it. They try to act like he has some female support. Women are not supporting Donald Trump. Go and look at the suburbs in the primary. Women are not voting for Donald Trump. And if they're not voting for him in the primary, you can only imagine what it's going to be in the general. If he gets to the general. I've always said that I believe at the convention in July, they're going to sit him down. He's not going to be the nominee, ultimately. They're going to make a move to switch him out. He's going to get pissed about it, but they're going to come to him with the polls and say, you just can't win. They already know right now he can't win. That's all bullshit. They're like, if the election were held today, well, sorry to inform you, the election is not held today. So why would you tell me about if the election were held today? It's not held today. It's held in November, like it always is. And the reason they have to say all of that kind of stupid shit is because they know he's going to lose. And if they leave him on the ballot all the way to November, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a landslide. That's how I feel. The Democrats could have Daffy Duck on the ballot. It's going to be a landslide because nobody besides some really trashy, bottom of the barrel, gutter trash is going to vote for Donald Trump in 2024. Yeah, the gutter trash of American society will vote for him, absolutely. Yeah. Because trashy people like trashy people. So they're going to vote for him. All the scoundrels, the rapists, the murderers, the thieves, all of those type of men, they're going to vote for Donald Trump, of course. He's their candidate. That's about 20% of the American society. Sadly, we have that much. Yeah. But nobody else is going to vote for him. I don't know anybody, none of my friends voted for him in 2016. Nobody that I knew voted for him in 2020. And everybody is laughing that he's on the ballot in 2024. It's like the biggest joke ever. They're like, Americans, we've been over Donald Trump. I don't know what the Republican Party is thinking, but we've been over that Frankenstein. We've been over that monster. He's yesterday, I tell you what it is. He's yesterday's news that they're still trying to make current because they need ratings. So, oh yeah, it's a horse race. It's tight. The polls show Donald Trump ahead. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. And then you go and look at the primary, who's voting for him? Hardly no one. Let me repeat that. Hardly no one, even in the deep South, is voting for Donald Trump. Biden got more votes in the Utah primary than Trump did in Utah. Facts. Now, does that mean Biden is going to win Utah in November? Probably not. But that's a bad sign if a Democrat who's not even campaigning in a competitive state gets more votes than you in a competitive Republican primary in 2024. That's a horrible sign. You know, he's got so much black support, right? They tell us so many black people are buying his shoes, his mugshot t-shirts. You go and look at Fullerton County. I think he got like 10,000 votes out of Fullerton County. Yeah, 10,000. Fullerton County is one of the most populous suburbs in all of Georgia. Highly minority. 10,000 votes in Fullerton County. Yeah, it really shows a lot of support. DeKalb County, it was even worse. About 6,000 votes. Yeah, he's got so much support. I think in February, all of February, he raised $10 million. Now, we know February had 29 days. He couldn't even raise $1 million per day. He raised $10 million the entirety of February. What do I think happened to the small donors? Well, I think most of them are broke. To be honest with you, I think most of them are broke or dead. A lot of his supporters, this is a fact that the media won't really touch upon, but I'm going to tell you all something that I believe, but they're not going to really tell you. A lot of his supporters, and by a lot, I don't mean millions, I just mean a lot. A lot of his supporters are either in prison or in the grave. A lot of them died of COVID because they wanted to be buttheads, stupid, not get vaccinated, go outside, pretend it's 1999. They caught the virus. Many of them were not in good health conditions, and they succumbed to their health conditions and the virus. 1,400 people per week were dying of COVID this winter. Who do you think most of those people were? Really? Because they were telling you most of the deaths were happening in rural counties in this country. So you know who they were already. So the ones who are still left are broke. They don't have $5. They can barely keep on their lights. Some of them are living in their cars on the street. You know, they gave their last $3 to a rich, wealthy real estate billionaire who also is now broke. Yeah, so that wasn't smart of them to do. And then a lot of people, you know, have said, you know, they've wised up to the con. Especially a lot of women. A lot of women are saying, you know what? I've seen the light. I'm not giving this dude another penny. He conned me. And you know, women are probably going to be the first to really recognize that he's a con. Even some of those women that supported him in 2020. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they've had other men throughout their life do the same thing Donald Trump did, which is come along and tell them everything they wanted to hear, present themselves as this strong figure, that they're going to protect them. You know, he talked all this talk about he's going to make their communities safe. He said everything they wanted to hear. So You know, it's a con. This is how you know when it's a con, because this is what con artists do. They tell you everything that you want to hear. And then when it doesn't metastasize, they go to blaming someone. So he went to saying, you know, the reason I'm not being able to do this is the deep state. It's the swamp. I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to do so much for you. And then when that didn't metastasize, then he turned on the American citizenry and said, you know, it's the media. It's the military. It's Milley, and he's the general. Milley is the one doing it. It's the radical left. You see how it keeps getting progressively worse and worse, sliding down more and more to us, the citizenry? Now he's talking about bloodbaths. Now, everybody knows a bloodbath is you out in the street fighting with other citizens, right? And we don't have to look far, because we saw that in Charlottesville already. We saw Alex Fields Jr. get into a Ford F-150, ram it at full speed into counter-protesters, murdering Heather Heyer. Rest in peace, Heather. Yeah. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, skinheads, Ku Klux Klan, that was who was there at the Unite the Right rally. And he said they were very fine people. You all remember that? He said that those folks were very fine. The same people who used to put people on trees, and still do in the South. Yeah, they were very fine people. He said that. We all heard what he was saying. Yeah. And for many of us, myself included, we know they're anything but fine. We know they're deeply, deeply unwell and sick. Yeah, they're deeply sick. And there's no cure for their sickness. Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a cure. Once they're 6 feet under, we're cured from them. But that's the only cure for them. We know what it is. So you all, by summer, he's toes. I don't believe they're going to even be able to cobble and drag him to that convention in July. You say, who are they going to find? I don't know what they're going to do, but they're not going to be able to cobble and drag him. After we see that New York hush money trial, everybody that's got a brain who isn't, scum of the earth is going to fall away. They're not going to want to do anything with him. The money is already gone. The small donor money is dried up. He raised $3 million in January and $10 million in February. Remember, before he released the numbers today, he was saying, I raised so much money in February, we had our best month ever. Now, what does that tell you? If your best month is $10 million and your opponent, who's supposedly sleeping all the time, raised $53 million, what does that tell you about him and the prospects for money? And the rich Republican donors are not going to contribute before that trial is over with. I guarantee you that's what they're holding out waiting for. They're going to wait to June. And if by June he's still kind of where he is now, then they might contribute. But they're going to wait till what that trial has to offer the American citizenry. That's what I would do if I was wealthy and wouldn't want to throw millions of dollars down the sink or flush it down the toilet. Because I'm telling you, if they contribute now to him, it's just going to be like flushing money down the toilet. They can give him all the money they want to right now. But once that trial starts, once Alvin Bragg starts going in on him, presenting all the evidence he has to the American citizenry, and we're going to be watching that every day glued to the tube, child, it's done. It's over with. They don't even have to do the January 6th trial. They don't have to do the classified document trial. That one is going to do him in. That is serious. You all better pay attention to that. That's serious. When I saw that Stormy Daniels documentary, I said, whoa, this is serious. This is more. I told you all, I was going to even be surprised, and I was. They tried to kill that woman's horse. This is how sick those people are. I don't even know if they're people. I believe they're monsters. we have no evidentiary evidence that they're human. Because most of us don't do that kind of shit. Most of us. Some of us do. And, to each their own. But I believe they're monsters. Who would send death threats to somebody's daughter? Yeah, their child. Okay, it's one thing you have a problem with her. But why would your problem extend out to her daughter? Her daughter had nothing to do with Donald Trump. So see, this is a level of sickness you can't even imagine that you're dealing with. Go and look at all of that stuff they sent Stormy. Now, does that strike you as somebody who's innocent? Why would his supporters feel the need to do that to her? If she didn't have anything to do with Trump, if she's just completely lying and making this up, well, that would be obvious and apparent in the trial. It would come out that she's a total liar. Yeah, why would you need to terrorize somebody that you can easily disprove their story? Doesn't make much sense to me, right? Does that make much sense to you all? If this person, Stormy Daniels, is such a liar, she's going to go on trial and tell all these lies. Couldn't his legal defense team poke holes through everything she's going to say? And we could all watch and see that this woman is a liar? That she's ganging up and has some animus towards Donald Trump? Yeah. See, they couldn't prove that shit with E. Jean Carroll either. And they're not going to be able to prove it in this trial either. Yeah, they're not going to be able to prove that shit. Right. Yeah, he went to talking about E. Jean Carroll's columns that she wrote. Now, this woman has written columns for 25 years all across America answering questions. And what he did was he selectively took out a few columns that she wrote and highlighted those columns and said that, oh, she supports this or she's in favor of this. Not telling you that this woman has written for 25 years. Yeah, and you took snippets of her work. Yeah. I'm just telling you what occurred. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. I don't need your agreement. Why do people come over and say, I don't agree with you? Did I ask for your agreement? I don't recall asking you. Now, if I had asked for you to agree with me and you disagreed, that's one thing. I didn't ask you. I'm just stating what's publicly available. If you don't want to agree with what's publicly available information, that's you. You have all of these sycophants for him. Trump 2024. Do you see him on all of these videos posted? On all of these videos, Trump 2024. Now, I think it's half and half. Like the Palmer T is 50-50, half and half, I think. Half of those posts, I think, are coming from Russia. They're Russian bots. They have all of these huge Russian troll farms of bots that they just stick on the internet on different people's pages. I think that. So half of them are bots. And then the other half are sycophants. A bunch of weirdo dudes. And they're all men. It's all men that are doing that kind of stupid shit. A bunch of weirdo white dudes. Racist ass white dudes that come and say Trump 2024. Don't tell you why they're supporting him, which is within their right. They can support whoever they want to. But I wonder why they feel the need to come and tell us all the time, Trump 2024. Just go out and vote for him. We don't care. Yeah, they're trying to act like that's going to convince us to vote for him because they say Trump 2024 in every comment section. Yeah. The weirdos. Will you tell them they're weirdos? Some weirdo white dudes do that. I know who it is that do it. I know who it is. It's some weirdo white dudes. Trump 2024. They can't tell you for the life, to save their life, what they're voting for. Yeah, I don't even ask anymore, but don't even ask because they can't tell you what they're voting for. I can tell you what they're voting for, what I think they're voting for. They're voting for Donald Trump so you can have the McMichael situation happen again, where they can get in a pickup truck and lynch Ahmaud Arbery at high noon in Brunswick, Georgia. They're voting for Trump so they can have Derek Chauvin put another knee on another black man's neck for 9 minutes and 22 seconds. That's what I think they're voting for. They need somebody to give them cover so they can be as racist and vile and evil and as violent as their hearts are content to be again in America. That's what they vote for Donald Trump for. Because they know he's trashy, he's filthy, and he has no principles. And so they know that, if we don't have any principles and he's in charge, he'll let us do anything we want to do. Period. Yeah, it's never, have you noticed it's never accompanied with any type of policy? It's just Trump 2024. It's the craziest, weirdest thing. I'm like, you can vote for him. I don't give a damn, but it's not like you're voting for anything. Yeah, one of these clowns said they're voting for Trump because he's gangster. I'm like, okay, if you want to vote for somebody because they're gangster. Yeah, I guess that meant that he scares, the president of China. Let me tell you all something. A side note on that. Nobody, and I do mean no one, is scared of Donald Trump. Have you seen him lately? Who would be scared of that? You really think China is scared of Donald Trump? Because he says he's going to put 100% tariff on all Chinese cars? Who gives a fuck? If I'm the Chinese, would I give a fuck about that? When we're in the European market, we're in the African market, we're in Southeast Asia, who the fuck needs America? They'll be like, we'll just go to Canada. We don't need you. Who the fuck needs America under Donald Trump? Nobody. Yeah, that doesn't scare anybody. So American, I tell you what, only men say that he's gangster and he's scaring somebody. You'll never hear anybody else say that besides some stupid male. Because he doesn't scare shit. Okay? He's broke. Yeah. He'll sell his dead mother's grave tombstone for $1 right now. He's broke. Okay? All Donald Trump has ever cared about is money. And he doesn't have any anymore. So, if you think somebody that's broke and desperate and would do anything for $1 is scary, I hate to see what your definition of scary is. Yeah, he doesn't scare anybody. Nobody's scared of him. The Chinese, the People's Republic of China is not scared of Donald Trump. And you keep talking all this shit about other people, it won't be the people you think are going to do the thing to you that actually even do the thing to you. So you all be focused on China and talking all that shit about what you're going to do to China, and somebody else will slip in and hit your ass. And the Chinese will be just sitting back laughing because you were focused on them and you let somebody else come up and punk your ass. That's how it goes. I kid you not. I've seen this show. I've been around before. Your whole focus is on somebody else. And all the while somebody else is building up and doing some shit. And they'll come in and punk your ass. And you'll be like, damn, I didn't see that coming. I thought they were going to do it. Yeah. So, to your point, I don't know what the Republican Party is going to do, but I know they're getting desperate. They're looking at him. He can't raise any money. They're scared to death about this trial starting in April. Alvin Bragg is nothing to play with. They can talk about, he can call him an animal. This is the guy that called Alvin Bragg, the first ever African-American DA of Manhattan, an animal. And put a baseball bat, which is a death threat. It's a threat. It's a death threat. He put a picture of himself with a baseball bat next to his head. Facts. Now, what you think Alvin Bragg been waiting to see when he comes to the court? He been waiting to see him. He like, hello, here I am. Here's the animal. I've been waiting for you, Donald. You think Alvin Bragg is not going to do a job on him? Letitia James was mild in comparison to what you're fixing to see Alvin Bragg do to him. Oh, Alvin Bragg has been waiting, chomping at the bits for this moment. Yeah, he's been waiting for his 15 minutes of fame. What you think I would do if, oh, you know what I would do. But what do you think you would do if somebody called you an animal, a racist animal, and put up a picture of a baseball bat next to your head threatening you because you're just doing your job? What do you think I would do when I see you in April, bro? I'm talking real talk. I'm not talking this fake shit. I'm talking real talk. What do you think you would do or I would do if I saw a son of a bitch who threatened me and called me an animal and then I got to prosecute your ass in court? You think I would go easy on you? No. No. I'd be waiting for you to be in court. First thing in the morning, I'd wave to you. Wave to your counsel. Be like, good luck out there, because you're going to need it. Alvin Bragg is going to throw the kitchen sink at him. He's going to throw everything at him. And believe you me, they got a lot. Because I tell you something. Letitia James and all the information about Trump Organization, she gave all that shit to Alvin. So Alvin has that on top of the hush money shit. So it's not just going to be about the hush money. See, they're trying to act like it's just going to be about one thing. No, it's going to be about rampant criminality that Donald Trump and that organization has been doing for decades in New York. He's been committing financial fraud on the citizens of New York for decades. And he's going to hear every detail starting in April. And he can't dispute any of it because they got the paper. It's all on paper, sweetheart. Yeah. What, that's not your signature? That's not your lawyer? Michael Cohen is not, he wasn't acting as your lawyer? That bank account where he got the $130,000 out of, you didn't give him permission? Well, we got records showing you gave him permission. Oh, they're going to do a job on him. And the stupid Republican Party, that's what I call it right now, the stupid Republican Party, they nominated him. And they're going to pay a price for that. Because we, the people, are not going to vote for him. I'm not. I proudly did not vote for him in 2016. I proudly did not vote for him and campaigned against him in 2020. And I'm proudly, if I'm here in November, not planning to vote for his ass in 2024. So 3 times that bum has been on the ballot. And all 3 times I have not voted for him. This 3rd time in November being the 3rd time. There's no way in hell I would ever vote for something like Donald Trump to be president. I wouldn't even put him in charge of watching a cat or a dog at a veterinary, let alone be president. No, 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 no. No, thank you. No. And the people who have supported him, you know, to each their own, but in my mind, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. If you have any shame as an individual, you ought to be ashamed to support something like that. I mean, that's pure gutter trash. That's beyond trash, because trash has some redeeming qualities. We're talking gutter trash. When I say bottom of the barrel, I'm talking about the scraping sound that you hear when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's what that is. Yeah. And you all can try to act like it's not, but, I mean, we got multiple people who have alleged things that he's done. Multiple people, myself included. Anybody in any type of victimization you can think of, Donald Trump, rest assured, has done it. Yeah, there's nothing he hasn't done to victimize somebody in some type of way. Yeah. People remember him in New Jersey in the 70s. Yeah, with the casinos. He was ripping people off at the casinos. They were doing all kind of illegal shit at the casinos. That's why they had to close them up. Who who really thinks the casinos close up? Casinos stay open forever. The reason his casinos closed up in Atlantic City is because he was committing fraud. And they had investigators go up in there and they saw all the fraudulent things that how his casinos were operating. And he was about to get a citation, a huge citation for that operation, for the scams that he was running, and he quickly closed up shop so he didn't get the fine. Yeah. People remember in New York at LaGuardia Airport his stupid planes being on the runway, and planes, real regular planes, couldn't even take off because his stupid planes wouldn't get out of the way at LaGuardia. This has been a bum and a crook forever. He's always been a bum and a crook. Yeah. He's got the nerve to say, this is a witch hunt now. No, this is just accountability for the 77 years your ass has been on this planet victimizing and abusing the laws of our system. It's finally caught up to you after 77 years. You know, sometimes it takes a long time. Yeah, but it's finally caught up to him. And I mean, everything is caught up to him. All of the rampant criminality, all of it is finally caught up to him. They sent out, you know, when you do discovery in the legal world, you have to send this discovery evidence to the defense. So the documents, the classified documents, beyond top secret documents that he had by the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, Jack Smith and his legal team sent out those discovery documents to his defense lawyers, as was required under the law. His defense lawyers said the reason they shouldn't have the trial start until April of 2026 is because there's so many discovery documents, 4 million to be exact, that they said it would take years before they could read over all of the discovery evidence that they have against that man. They said they had a joystick plugged in, receiving the documents virtually online. And they said that thing had been plugged in for 4 days and it was still downloading documents. Yeah, think about that. 4 million pages of discovery evidence against this man. And that's just one case, the classified documents case. 4 million. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason he's wanting to delay these cases because, you know, if you have 4 million pieces of paper showing how you committed rampant different acts of criminality, I probably would want to delay too to 2026. I probably would want to delay forever. If you have you think about that. You have 4 million pieces of paper showing that I committed that much rampant criminality in just one case. Yeah, I would want to delay too. Yeah, I definitely want to delay too. I wouldn't want to go up against all of that. So you all, his delay time is over for the New York hush money trial. That's starting in mid-April. You get your popcorn and the champagne, because that's going to be fireworks. Anybody that tells you that case is not serious, you better go and watch that Stormy Daniels documentary. You better quickly go and watch that, because that case is deadly serious. Yeah, Hillary Clinton would have been president had they not done that catch and release shit. What do they call it? No, catch and kill. Had they not done that catch and kill shit, Hillary would be president. She would have been president. She would have been running for re-election in 2020. It's no doubt in my mind she would have won the presidency because women would not have voted for it. Even the women that voted for him in 2016, they wouldn't have voted for him in 16 if they had known that. Wait till you hear what's going to come out. They would not have voted for him if they had known he had done that shit. And so that's election interference. When we don't know everything about you and you're seeking an office and you come and tell us we know everything about you, you don't release your tax returns, you keep all of these things secret from us, and then people vote on you based off of the stupid bullshit that you're saying. I'm going to make America great again. I'm going to make you safe again. All this bullshit. And then we find out years later you did all this kind of fuck shit. Boy, I'm telling you, people are going to be mad. They're going to be incensed. Because they're going to feel like they got duped. And they did get duped in 2016. You know, at that time, he didn't have this big cult following that he has now. And it's not even big now. It's just a tiny cult following. But he didn't have any cult following in 2016. He just ran against the establishment. He was the outsider. And so a lot of people just voted for him because he was the outsider. But if they hadn't known about Stormy Daniels and all of that shit, oh no, he wouldn't have gotten any women to vote for him. You wait to April and you see what the opinion polls are going to say with women after this trial. It's going to be night and day. Even, I guarantee you, even some of the Karens, some of those racist ass white women, they'll just sit at home. They're not going to vote for that kind of stuff. When they hear what he did to these women, when they see Stormy Daniels crying, recanting what happened to her, they're not going to vote for him. The Republican Party knows it too. They know it. They're petrified and scared. Don't let them fool you talking about they're riding with Trump and no, they're petrified right now. They're scared to death. They're wetting themselves at night in the bed when they're asleep. This is how scared they are. Well, he's already called Letitia James a racist. He said Fannie Willis is a racist. He said Alvin Braggs is a racist. You know, all these black people are racist towards him. Yet he loves black people. But all of these black people who are professionals doing their job, they're all being racist towards him. Yeah. Now make that make sense. Yeah. Only black conservatives, only these bozo black conservatives will come out and tell the average black American that Donald Trump loves black people, when yet we're seeing him call everybody animals and racists who are black professionals all across America. 3 different jurisdictions. He's called black people animals and racists. But yet he's down for black America. Yeah. And you know what? You don't see think about this. You don't see too many black conservatives anymore, do you now? Maybe that's because the Laura cut the minority outreach funding. You know, the only people that were talking Trump, and they were black conservatives, it was because they were on the payroll. Now he's got to cut payroll because everything has to go towards his legal fees. So you don't see too many black conservatives anymore. He can't afford to pay them. The Blacks for Trump, you remember at all of those rallies they had the Blacks for Trump behind them? You don't see those people anymore. You can't afford to pay them. They were all paid actors. Those weren't no black people. And they were being paid by him. The Republican Party was paying black people, random black people, to wear a Blacks for Trump t-shirt. This is how desperate they were. And even with that scheme that they had concocted in their mind, they still only got 8% of the black vote in 2020. Now that 8% is not being paid anymore. So they might not even vote. It's not in their interest to go out there and bump Donald Trump if he's not going to pay him. Darrell Scott is on the payroll. That's why he's talking he loves Donald Trump. Because he's being paid by Trump. You have to understand, with Trump, everything is about a business transaction. He has no friends. Nobody respects him. Nobody likes him. Everybody knows he's a crook and a bum and a con man. The way he keeps people around him is he pays people. And now he's broke. He can't pay anyone anymore. So they had to cut the minority outreach centers. And there never was anybody in those centers to begin with. Laura, you got to cut Daryl Scott. Because nobody was coming to your community outreach centers, Laura. There were no... When you saw them places, did they look packed? They were empty. They didn't even have Kentucky Fried Chicken, according to what people in the community told me. One woman said she went in there, she was thinking they were going to have some pizza and chicken. She said they didn't have nothing in there for her. She said she looked in the window and just kept walking. That was a front to pay Daryl Scott and that black comedian some money. Diamond and Silk, Candace Owens, and some black conservatives. That was a front to pay those folks. Now they can't afford to pay them anymore. Yeah. So you won't see blacks for Trump anymore. Yeah. It might be some racist white boys that wear that shit. You know, like that one on the internet that had the N-word for Trump. Some racist white boys. They'll wear it. Yeah. Because that's all that's all that's left. He can't afford to pay the black people anymore. He's broke. He's broker than broke. He's brokety broke. When it's over with, I don't even know if he's going to be able to afford a pack of ramen noodles in prison. He might not even be able to afford ramen noodles by the time it's over with. You know the beach chairs that they have at the beach that the general public can sit in? That might be what he has at some, place that he has left. The golf courses, those are going to be gone. The Trump Tower in Chicago, they're going to take that name off the tower. Remember, you heard it here first. Once he gets convicted of any felony, no matter what the jurisdiction is, that's when they can come into all of those contracts with his name, that he's licensed. See, you all think he owns those buildings. No, his name is licensed to the buildings. And it's a contract. And once he's a convicted felon, which is going to happen, because they got the evidence against him. That's why he's wanted delays, because he knows they're going to find him guilty. Once he's a convicted felon, they can go into those contracts and say, your name is now Mud. We're not going to have a convicted fucking felon on our goddamn buildings in downtown in any of these cities anymore. And they are going to take his name off of all of those buildings and they're going to tear up those contracts. And once he doesn't have the money coming in for the licensing of his name, that's more money that he's going down the drain. So yeah, he's done. He's done it and done. Yeah. Chicago, people, I'm telling you, I know people. People in Chicago, when they drive by that building and they see his name, they roll down their window. I have friends there. My friends have told me they roll down their window and they spit out the window at the building. They give it the finger. They yell out, fuck Trump. People cannot stand his ass in the cities. Yeah, they cannot stand looking at that building. You know how many politicians would get cheered? The day the mayor, let me tell you something. The day the mayor of Chicago removes that name from that tower in Chicago, everybody in Chicago gonna go wild. It's gonna be the biggest party ever. People cannot stand him in the cities. Now you got some rural white racists in these rural communities that love him. Oh yeah, they love him. But in the cities, we cannot stand his guts. He better not even ever think about coming into this city. Child, if he comes in, we know they're coming. And you think I'm going to have that trash come up in my city? Sweetheart, I cannot tell you all because it would violate these policies of these platforms. What I would do if those people came into my city. But I guarantee you, they would never come back in again. They did some fuck shit to us already, so I feel like it's fair game. I feel like it's fair game. Whatever I would do to them, I would say, you already did it to us once, so yeah, I'm going to do it to them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Would I possibly, potentially make a Molotov cocktail and throw it at some of them? Possibly. Would I possibly bring out brass knuckles and glass bottles and throw it at them? Possibly. Would I urinate in glass bottles and throw urine at them? Possibly. Would I have knives and try to stab folks that have tried to harm me? Possibly. I cannot say definitively what I would do, but these are all possibilities of what I would do. Because they've done all of that shit to us. So I feel like if you fucking mistreat us, then we have a right to fucking mistreat you. I do not even tell me they're citizens. I don't give a fuck. Because they didn't give a fuck that we were citizens. He didn't give a fuck when he came into Portland and Mammoth County and his supporters did all that fuck shit to us. So I'm not going to give a fuck about them. So he can't come into the cities. He knows that. Because if he comes in with that trash, we're going to run it right out. And they're going to wish they had never come in. They better have good life insurance is what I'm telling them. Because I'm not backing down. None of the people I know are backing down. We will not have that in our communities, period. Keep that fucking trash in your rural ass communities. Please and thank you. We don't want that here. Yeah, let us die in our misery and peace. Yeah. Because somebody said we're miserable. Okay, you're miserable too. Let us all die in our misery and peace though. You all stay in the backwoods smoking on your cigarettes and shooting at black mannequins. Because we know what the fuck you do. You're unoriginal. Hey, white conservative white men, you are unoriginal. We know all that fucking fuck shit you do. Smoking on your Marlows in the backwood, calling black people the N-word and shooting at some black and Hispanic mannequins. Keep that shit there. Yeah, everybody looks good when they're shadow boxing. Come run up. What? We're not supposed to shoot back if you come start shooting at us? We're not going to shoot back? We're just going to stand there and let you shoot us? Yeah, sure. Believe what you want to, sweetheart. Believe what you want to. You come into our communities and you want to fuck with us because we don't fuck with Donald Trump, you're going to come into the community and find out this is the last community you're going to fuck with. Yeah. Yeah, they tried to harm Stormy Daniels' horse. Yeah. This is who they are. This is who they are. And we're supposed to think they're nice people? They got the nerve to tell us they're nice people. No, you're not. No, you're not. And then they say, oh, we're violent. Yeah, but you are too. Welcome to the club. What, we're supposed to stand there and be defenseless and know what they do to us? Know what they've done to us for centuries? No, sweetheart. We're not. We have to match what we have to deal with out here on the street. If we didn't have to deal with them, then we wouldn't have to be in this situation. But we have to match what we have to deal with. Period. Yeah, they got the nerve to talk about how we're this and we're that, like they're angelic. Now just stay down in the South with all that bullshit. And on a side note, you all, this is why people left the South. Because they didn't want to be bothered with that gutter trash. This is why we came out to the West Coast. This is why we moved up to the Midwest. You know, you had a great migration in the 1940s and 50s. Black Americans had to move out of the Bible Belt. See, they keep talking about Christian nationalism. I'm going to have to talk a whole lot about this Christian nationalism stuff. Because you Christians, you white men Christians, black people had to move away from you because you were putting them on trees. We've seen your Christian nationalism before. It involved lynching, rape, and genocide. We don't want your Christian nationalism anymore, white man. We've seen that shit before. We know what it entails. You all can call yourself Christian, but we've seen what it entailed. We don't want it. So you keep that shit in the South. You keep all that fucking trashy shit in the South where it belongs. And you know, this is why hurricanes come and tear up the South, in my opinion. This is just my belief. This is why hurricanes come and tear up the South, while they have wildfires, hurricanes, all kind of fuck shit. Because the universe knows they're fucking trash. and tries to remove them. Because you all won't stand up to them. The universe has to do your job. Yeah, you refuse to stand up to that trash, so the universe comes in and clears it out. So you keep that shit in Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, and wherever the hell else you keep it. You look at Mississippi. Did you all hear that story? Mississippi in Rankin County. Now, anybody familiar with the South and Mississippi and Rankin County knows how racist those people are down there. I mean, it's like inbred in them, the racism down there. So anyway, you had 6 or 7 police officers, all white dudes. They heard that there were 2 black men in a house with a white woman. Think about this. We're not talking about 1930. We're not talking about 1940, 1950, 1960. This is in 2021, 2022. They heard that 2 black men were in a home with a white woman. A white woman was in a home. So one of the police officers called another one and said, hey, there's 2 black men in Braxton County in Mississippi in a home with a white woman. And they went into that home and tortured, almost killed those 2 black men. For hours, they just tortured them. Yeah. And you think that's what we want to be bothered with? No, that's why there was a great migration to get the hell up on out of your Christian, nationalist, Bible Belt, God-loving states. Yeah, we saw how Christ-like they were. Come on. See, they won't put this on the media. They won't allow anybody to get on there and say who that scummy, trashy ass motherfuckers are. So we have to get on the internet and say who they are. Because they won't put this on CBS. They won't put this on NBC. They won't put this on ABC. They're going to try to act like, oh, Christian nationalism, this is something new. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is what millions of black people had to flee in this country. Yeah. And now they want to try to bully the immigrants, the Latino people. Hey, Latino people, just know it's nothing new. This is what they've always done. They've always been trashy. They've always been racist. And you can't change a devil. Period. Yeah, they got the nerve to be talking about we're the devil. Hey, sweetheart, we haven't done any of that devil shit that you all did. And you can call it Christian all you want to. You can give it whatever name you want to. We don't give a damn. We've seen it before, and we don't want to be bothered with it anymore. You keep it down in the South. Yeah. Stay down there with all those hurricanes and tornadoes and watch Mother Nature tear your shit up, because that's what's happening. They have the largest wildfire in Texas history. Yeah. And that's just the beginning of it. You wait and you watch the weather. It's going to tear up the South. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. For all that shit they did. Somebody really smart said, you know, every time they have a hurricane, you look at the trajectory of where those hurricanes hit in the South. And if you look at it, you map out where they did all of that gross, heinous fuck shit to black people. It's the exact same spots. Yeah. I said, I'll be damned. Because when those hurricanes come in, they have a trajectory they come up. And wouldn't you know, if you look at the communities those hurricanes and tornadoes be hitting, it's the same spots where they did all of that fucking heinous, barbaric things to black people. Yeah, they got the nerve to talk about Florida and the freest state. Were you free when you were throwing little black babies to the crocodiles, having black babies be eaten by crocodiles? That's where they get the Crocs from, the shoes, okay? You all don't know this, but they used to throw black babies, little babies, to crocodiles for crocodile food. And they got the nerve to talk about babies. Yeah, here goes Florida. They used to pour acid in the pools. When black people went to the pools, the public pools, there was a white dude. It's on video. You don't have to take my word for it. White dude, business dude. He had a business outfit on. He was so pissed that the pools were integrated. He poured acid in the pool with black people in it. And all the Florida police, this is how you can tell the police have always been racist. This was in the 1950s, you all, by the way. All the Florida police were standing outside the pool. And as people were running to get out the pool and tell them what was happening, the Florida police didn't do shit to him. Yeah. He ran to the pool and poured acid in the pool. And they got the nerve to tell us they're Christ like they're Christian. Yeah, you keep that shit down there, sweetheart. Don't you ever come up here. Because you know what's going to happen if you come up here. Yeah. You know what it is. It's up and on up here, baby. We don't like them. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to like us. The feeling's mutual. We don't like them either. So it's square. Just stay in their little area. Yeah. And let Mother Nature tear that shit apart. Because that's what's happening. And it's going to continue to escalate on steroids. I don't know if you know this, but nature is doing a job on them. I don't think there's going to be much left. I don't think there's going to be much left by the time nature gets done with them. Because, you know, if you all won't do what you need to do to get rid of them, then nature will. You know, the universe is bigger than all of us. I always tell you all that. The universe is bigger than all of us. You all are just a small little speck. And you let a small little, you know, insignificant speck dictate all of how we move on this planet. And you really shouldn't. But seeing as you all can't get rid of them, the universe is going to get rid of them. They're going one way or the other. Yeah. Yeah. We don't want them. We'll take the migrants. We don't want them. They can stay down there. Yeah. They got the nerve to come and tell us about Christian nationalism. They don't. I'm like, if you want to, I'm going to wrap it up with this. If you're going to tell us about Christian nationalism, tell us how when you landed, got off the Mayflower, you genocided the indigenous people. Tell us about that. Tell us how Christ-like that was. Tell us like how you bought and sold people. Because, you know, they keep talking about the Africans sold people. What kind of low-down scoundrel would buy another human being? You know, somebody can sell you anything, but what kind of decent, upstanding Christian person would buy another human being, a child at that? So you kidnapped a whole group of people by the millions, right? And you brought them over here. And the Africans didn't ever tell you, you know, put these folks on trees and lynch them and burn them. Feed them to crocodiles. That's what you all decided to do. So you got a whole lot of nerve to talk about somebody selling you something and you buying human beings and then you taking them to a new place and mistreating them, brutalizing them for centuries. Not for a couple of years, not for a few weeks, for centuries. And now you got the nerve to talk about Christian nationalism? Fuck you, fuck Jesus, and fuck the South. That's how I've always felt about that shit. Fuck you, fuck Jesus, and fuck the South. It's always going to be like that. And just stay down there. And let Mother Nature tear your shit up. Because that's what's going to occur. That's what's happening. That's the way I see it. Yeah. That's the way I see it. I don't know. Maybe people see it differently. Yeah. They have the nerve to come up here and tell us they want Christian nationalism again. I'm like, yeah. Because the first time it worked out so well, right? Yeah. We just have to run everything. As long as we're running everything, it'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, it worked out so well the first time. Yeah. So you all, that's all I got. You know, the Republican Party, they're toast. They've got Trump. You know, they went with Trump. Let them have it. Yeah. By the time we get to June, his support is going to be nothing. Yeah. 20%, give or take. 20%. All of them down in the South, they'll continue to vote for him and support him. But the rest of us, we're done with him. He's toast. Yeah. Yeah. And they can try to say that it's not a big deal, the hush money case, but we'll see. Let's wait, let's watch, and we'll see. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big deal. But we'll see. I could be wrong, but you know, I don't think I ever am.